when I'm the word code.
The time that you got in life is this much, and then the time that I wasted with drugs and alcohol and being a dummy is not that much, and then the time I did in prison because I was a dummy and alcohol and drug addict, it left me with this much. So this is what I got left out of this much. It's important that this much that's left, you find happiness and you get the most you can out of it, and don't let somebody make you fucked up and then have this much.
I can relate that to a lot of stuff, man. Not only using drugs and alcohol, not only going to prison, but anything, man. Like this is as bad as my father worked 6 days a week his entire life, and he retired twice. And finally, when he retired the last time at 72 years old, it wasn't within a year. He got sick, man, and it's an
you never know.
It's an irreversible sickness. And he worked himself and wasn't able to enjoy any of it on the back end. So even if it's like, because for me, at first, it was work, make money, and now it's like, I mean, if I can't enjoy it on the back end, what fucking good is it making it?
It's the most valuable thing that you can't buy, and it's called time. Ain't that the truth? And welcome everyone to Mind Over Madness for a very special edition. We are going to be talking about the Frontline Healing Foundation. Keith, I'm going to let you take it away on this one and do the introduction, because this is your world that you brought to me. I just want everyone to know that the site is in the description, and if anyone would like to donate to the foundation, the link is in our description on Mind Over Madness and the Loomis Show. So thank you all for being here with us. We will get to the chat, but Keith, you could take it away. And Cody, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, man. I think we can get to the Frontline Healing Foundation in a minute. We let Cody do his thing, but most of you guys know Cody. Cody, thanks for coming, dude.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Cody has become a very good friend here lately, man. We've talked a lot. We have a lot in common. He has some personal stuff going on that we need to help out with, and he has with all his the thing that is crazy about Cody is he's got personal stuff going on that's insane, and he'll talk about that in a second. But on the side, he's trying to help these kids that are less fortunate get to a summer camp. And he can describe the summer camp and everything. I just dropped a link to that in the chat as well. And so I'll let Cody describe that. But a lot of people are like, I know a lot of people are tight for money and stuff. Dude, $5. If $5 or $10 each, it would be paid off like really quick. So, I mean, I know half you motherfuckers go get the fucking $12 chai mocha latte decaf with fucking drizzle shit on top. Don't get that tomorrow and donate that $8 to the fucking kids, man. So, Cody, wherever you want, if you want to do kind of your stuff first, then the kids, or vice versa, it's up to you, bud. But the floor is yours.
We'll focus on the kids. I put my website, the one that Rick made, with shout out to Rick from New American Republic. He built both of these websites in like the blink of an eye. I mean, I'd probably still be trying to get on the computer. I don't even know if I'd get my password in that fast, much less a website built. But he made landing pages for both causes. My cause, and if you don't know, I'm in terminal liver failure. I'm in need of a liver donor, but that can wait till tomorrow. It ain't gonna, day 121 ain't gonna matter. You know, it's already done and gone. We'll worry about that tomorrow. But campforkids.newamericanrepublic.org is the landing page for the kids to be able to donate to the to getting 2 kids specifically. And I think we're done. I think we're past the mark with 1. My wife's been dealing with putting my daughter's 13th birthday and me being gone and all this stuff that's been going on that I was just telling you about before we came in.
Yeah.
I told her, just lay in bed. You're good, dude. Just take a day off. I don't care. So, you know, she's had her phone off or on, you know, do not disturb, whatever. But I'm pretty sure we are 1 kiddo down. And if not, it's like $1 or $2 short. So The goal is $1,200 for 2 kids to go to Camp Maranatha in Nebraska, and it's a camp that hosts a bunch of different churches at their camp. My church is putting it on, and just so everybody knows, my church is strictly they're non-denominational Christian. However, we teach from the Word. There's nothing outside of Scripture. If Scripture says so, that's the way it is, right? Because you can't go in, you can't change the rules, you can't bend one here and bend it there to work for you. You got to fit your life to Jesus Christ and mold yourself in His image, not the other way around. That's why when I go drive in my car called Life, I crash that fucker right into a tree every damn time. I run it off a cliff, crash it into a tree, a pile of drugs. Like it never works out. But when I live my life as He would, or as I should like Him, what do you know? Different things, it's not always easier. It's not like I got a Lamborghini out front, but my life rides on like it's a lot better, more like a Lamborghini than a Pinto in general. However, Camp Maranatha is put on by Traverse Christian Church here in Windsor, Colorado. And they have stepped up and really became a family outside of my family around here. Last year was the first year my kids got to go to a church camp. I've been to church camp when I was young, obviously, and way different is a Catholic church, but this one has, every amenity you can think of for the kids to do: canoeing, hiking, archery. They do all kinds of water stuff. They can go fishing. They can go bounce each other off this giant balloon thing that, you put one person on and then they jump off something and then like launch them off the other side. And then more importantly, they get an opportunity to get into the Word and worship a couple times a day. That way, it's not something super overwhelming, but it's definitely a break from the chaos. As soon as they get on the charter bus, all their phones go into with I don't know if it goes into a bag or a suitcase, but all the phones get collected and they get put away for a week. And that's the biggest thing that the biggest impact that most of these adults that have been with these kids notice is they flat out say that, like, the kids at first are like, no, we don't want to give our phones up. What are we going to do? And then by day 2, they don't even think about it. They're having fun. They're out there somewhere new.
Living the way they should be living.
Yeah. Playing, experiencing life the way it should be without everybody else knowing what's going on at the same time. If Jenny wants Jimmy to know what Danny did, they have to go find that person and tell him versus just texting a group chat or making a FaceTime. So it builds a lot different communication skills. It builds a lot different lifestyle sets for people. And me and my wife had the opportunity to have our kids plus another kid. And then we found 2 other kids and we were just like, we're going to figure it out, and my wife's like, she's like, yeah, we will, one way or another. If I got to sell shit, whatever, if I got to, whatever I got to do. And luckily this family, New American Republic, Chris, obviously Roll the Bones, that he is like the man has been just a great friend in general. And as soon as he found out, as soon as Rick found out, as soon as Keith found out, it wasn't one of those things of like, well, I'll donate. It was like, let's get everybody involved, And like he said, it's not about if you can send $100 or $500. If you send $5, it helps, right? It's not a ton of money. It's $1,200. And, if you break that down, it's, there's been people that have sent 50, 25, 10, and everything's added up to about $600-700 already. So don't think that just because you don't have a lot to give that what you can give is not enough.
It's crazy, man. Like I saw the one post that we put up and shared about this. I think it got 25,000 views or something. If everybody gave $1, we could send 4
more
kids to camp, dude.
Yeah, like I'd be going finding kids and stuff on the bus.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Just what a great cause, dude. Like to be able to give these kids that are less fortunate a week of not having to worry about absolutely anything, getting to play with other kids in a safe environment. Dude, they remember that forever, dude. Like they will remember that forever.
Well,
It's
especially this time though now, because like the main thing I believe that the problem is that like Cody was saying, like with the phones and all that, we grew up on the streets playing like, like whether we got in fights, whether we were playing basketball, football, like communication outside instead of just holding a cell phone in your hand all the time and just let them know what like interacting with people is like.
Mhm.
Because Cody, the alleyway that I grew up in, there was a minimal 40 kids always playing out there growing up. Now
Oh
there's
yeah.
not. Now there's not one. The baseball diamonds, all the sand is covered with grass. Nobody plays anymore. It's just it's sad. It's a sad. I think it's really as much we wouldn't be able to do this without the technology that's out there, but
Right.
it's like it's a catch 22.
Absolutely. And our kids are exposed to so much more. I mean, that's the thing too that makes it hard is like, and teaching these kids that, whether you believe no matter what you believe in, right? That
Right.
there's a different way to do this, and that, Jesus Christ is going to love you and accept you for who you are. You are expected to act as, behave, act, and love a certain way, but that doesn't mean you're not forgivable. That what you've been through, what you've done, what you will do, as long as you repent for your sins, turn from sin, change your life, and come back to Him, in the end, you're gonna be fine. And speaking from three of us right now, all three of us have done shit that we probably don't think's forgivable, but that's laughable to Him. He went and he found the murderer. He went and found the dude that was taxing people, prostitutes, anybody he healed or anybody he put on the path of being a disciple was a piece of shit before. Like one way or another. They did not have any value to society, and teaching people and teaching kids that there's a better way to do this and a better way to be a better person. And they get to a lot of these kids go to school together, and obviously they're from different bubbles at school. And it's not that my kids tell me in middle school, anyways, that there's no cliques. We used to have the jocks, the goths, the popular kids, the broke kids, the stoners, the troublemakers. We had all these little cliques of people that never really got along. But now they still have that, but they're like some weird intermingled version of that, right? Because of technology, it seems like, and it colludes their minds and their ability to do anything. And all they're worried about is what they look like, how they're doing. It's like they're on a test 24/7. So they're just anxious and they're just a mess. But getting to go out there and experience this can't, like, most kids aren't going to go sit on the lake for a week at a time ever.
yeah.
And especially, a couple of these kids, most of the kids, like some of them have really rich parents in our church, and they got great jobs and they're awesome, like they can take their kids to Disneyland and you name it. But a couple of these kids that, me and my wife found, and we were like, hey, you want to do this? And they were like, yeah. And we went and talked to the parents and made sure the parents were okay with it. And my wife all the time tells me that I need to get into youth ministry, and I'm like, nah, like I'm good. Like, but apparently I have a little bit of a calling to getting to the younger generation and getting them to see like, hey, there's something better, and we can do something
you are
different.
getting to know you lately. You are mentally 12s.
Yeah.
Like, so
Stuck there.
Sure.
Well, listen, like you said, man, if we wouldn't have been able though to get off of what we got off of though if we didn't think though that we were able to be forgiven. My problem was I kept using, and then when I thought I was going to lose my leg from that, I had 3 surgeries in 5 days. That didn't even do anything, and I just put my folks through shit my whole entire life, and then I was able though to come back sober and help my father before he passed 2 years. So that means the world to me. And what people who are embarrassed about the situation they're in, it's more embarrassing to go out there and keep ripping and running than it is. Listen, asking for help and going inside of a rehab, that's like sensational. That's that's a huge accomplishment. So you know how people go, well, nobody could watch my dog. I have work next week. I can't go to listen, man. If you're like that, you can't even take care of yourself. So
Right.
just that's all I have to say on that end, though, because it's the truth. And
Yeah.
if I still think of things I did in the past, and I have to like yell like Tourette's, I have to be like to get it out of my head because there's bad shit. But at the end of the day, Praying helps. Meditation. This is like when you're off of it, like, when you get
Right.
sick.
Yeah.
But the main thing, I say the biggest investment in your life are the people who are around you. Who's ever sitting at your table, that's like Keith, for example, that's an investment. Boom. Like he's a friend. He's always fucking there for me. But then you could have bad investments that you have to get rid of, which are the people that try bringing you down. And it's okay though to fucking, say no and get rid of them and not people pleasing. Yes, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
And this, and again,
if I wasn't like half dead, I'd give you part of my liver. I told Keith.
right. I mean, and it's similar though. These kids, like, they get to go meet each other. And like I said, like a lot of them, I don't know. So I don't know the deepest, darkest secrets of any of their households, right? I just know I'm not a perfect man, and I try really hard to be a better dad than what I have. And I can say that there's a lot of people that don't even reflect on who they are because they think they're just glorious, and their kids are miserable, and they don't even see it. And I am just happy that we are so close to get, and it's going to happen one way or another, but I'm happy to see so many people come together as a beacon of hope because this country's so fucked up in politics and having opinions and judging everybody and classifying people and this and that it's like, wow, we if we can do this on a micro level, we can definitely do this on the macro level, and it's got to start here, right? It's got to start with our kids first, because if we don't have our kids being better people than we are, we're fucked. Who's gonna run this country? You know? And some of the shit these kids go through, did you see them say online? You're like, Jesus, this is gonna be a president one day, and everything's public. I mean, remember, you guys. Let's go back to Bill Clinton. His business, everything he did in Arkansas came out, and that was really where technology started to pick up in presidencies, right? And then further on, and then Trump and all he did this, and Obama, and they did this, but these kids, everything from the day they turn 13 or get a phone stuck in their hand, their decisions are now going to be put online, and they're going to stay there for somebody to hang on to, and hopefully we can just send them away for 1 week to get around some people that can teach them something different, and some really good adults. I mean, all the kids, all the adults that are going to camp, they've done it many years, and they are very good at finding the kids that need the help. And this sounds terrible, but not in a bad way. They use the other kids that have been there longer, that have been doing this, to help bring the other kids in and kind of soften the shell shock of this Bible thumper mentality, right? Because they usually look at people on the outside, like, I don't have this type stuff, because they're pulling up in a Toyota Camry, and this kid that they know from school is getting dropped off in an Escalade, and they're still seeing this, and they're still judging themselves. But when they get over there to Nebraska, all that shit's gone, and all it is it's them for an opportunity to be kids and get away from all of it. Like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could.
And what you said,
both of my kids went to a Christian summer camp from a non-denominational church here, and they loved it, man. And my daughter just went. I think they go like twice a year. She just went. I don't know. Was it October? Maybe. I think they went. They went up in the mountains and had these little cabins for a week or whatever.
Little winter retreat.
But I tell you, she comes back and like, I go, she's like, oh, can you pick me up from my friend's house? I'm like, yeah, give me the address. And it was some house I'd never been to before. I was like, who lives here? She goes, oh, it's one of the girls that I went to camp with. So, I mean, they do get to meet, they do make friendships that will last long after camp.
Yep.
At the camp. And those are the people like, I wouldn't say you don't have to worry about them, but you have to worry about them a lot less than, some friends
right.
You didn't know. It's like, oh, I met him at camp, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying everybody goes to camp's perfect. I'm sure there's some people that
right
get, but
the goal's $1,200.
Yeah.
all right, people. I mean, $1,200. It's not a lot of money. And like, just if everyone, I know you said everyone throws it. Everyone thinks they have to donate so much, two
No.
bucks, $3 a coffee or whatever, and it'll add up. So
I think the person that donates the most, we're going to send a signed picture of Matt Petunas in a Speedo.
I think that's a great idea, and that's worth Jesus, Keith. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't know. I mean, like that's a reach. I mean, that's worth way more than 1,200. But go ahead.
more.
What I am going to say is Cody is going to keep track of who donated what, and I guess if there's any you're going to somehow do it without names. I don't know how you're going to do it, but if you want to make sure the money's going to where the money's going, Cody is definitely going to make that available to everybody that donates. So,
we're
got absolutely no question where if that's the case, but so I just wanted to mention that if it's going to be there for accountability if you need it.
Yeah, and what happens throughout the day right now is anytime I get anything outside of Chris or NAR, I let them know in text message, hey, so-and-so sent me this via this. And most of it's been coming from other sources that are outside of me to me. And then, through Chris, like Chris is raised, and then he knows also what's coming in. But we will post up exactly the payment of both kids' camps when they're paid. And then after we get done with the posting of those payments to the kids' camps, we will also provide, like, we talked about just donating it straight to the church. In case they had some other needs that come up,
or to go to their supplies that they might need.
Yeah, because it is a packing list. Holy smokes. Last year when I was watching my wife do it, I'm like, where are we sending the kids? How long are we sending? Are they deploying? Right. They got an A bag, D bag, and a C bag. They're gone. But they make sure that they have everything. They get we already got the bed sheets and big items like flashlights, bed sheets. We'll make sure that they obviously have a Bible before they even take off. And that Bible will be their Bible, whether they have one or not, for the rest of their lives, or as long as they want to keep it. But I'm excited.
So Cody, the link that the Camp for Kids link, does that have all the places they can donate, or like whether it's Cash App,
absolutely, whatever and if your only means is Zelle, please reach out to me on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, and we'll discuss that, because that's straight banking info. So I didn't really give that out to many people.
I've got a question. Let's say someone has access to whatever, I don't know. Is there any way you could post the packing list and what is still needed? I mean, maybe people can, whether they could donate money too, but if someone wants to Amazon it to you just so that it's paid for and the kids have it, I mean, that would be really helpful too.
I can post that. That's easy. I can go get that off our website and put it up on my my Instagram and everything. And then that way anybody can go look at it and figure out. That's very true. Yeah, we can definitely do something like that. That's a good idea.
It's my one good idea of the year, bro.
You shouldn't have burned that out. You got too much going on. You got to use your good ideas on the home front.
You don't. I really do, man. But yeah, man, I didn't get a chance to go to many camps when I was little. It's just, having a one parent working, one staying home, and being one of four, it was just something that wasn't feasible or whatever. But the church I grew up in, it's a Maronite Catholic church, which is kind of like Roman Catholic, but the Middle Eastern version. But the church in Richmond that I went to had it sits on 14 acres, and you went to church when you're little, like, oh, I don't want to go to church, but afterwards, I mean, we had a baseball field, tennis courts, basketball court, a pavilion area. We had swimming pools. So, after church, you'd be out there all day and just it really builds a very tight community. And when we go back to Richmond, like, we're going in a couple weeks for my niece's graduation, but it's funny because, like, I'll call people like Uncle Joe, Aunt Sarah, and I find out later, like I'm not even related to them, but they're part of that community. So that's what we refer to them as. So
I went to a couple, but I did more Boy Scouts. So my first one, and I will never forget. I feel like I can remember every moment of this. Like I said, it was at Subiaco Monastery in northwestern Arkansas, up in the mountains, and that's where I learned what snipe hunting was. That was interesting. Got stuck in a fucking bag in a field for like 30 minutes. Like all of a sudden I'm like, I think I see it, because I'm the little idiot that's never been there. All of a sudden they stick me in a burlap sack and tie it off, but like, I remember the funniest thing is that I told my kids this after camp, and I was like, you guys do this, I will string you up. I was like, you're not me, so you won't get away with anything. But me and two other guys, they had a huge hill that they put like the world's largest tarp on, and then opened a fire hydrant down it. And it was like, it wasn't even tarp, it was literal plastic. And it was black. Slide. Huge. This thing was like 200 feet long and 100 feet wide. This thing was massive. So we went out and we were like, while everybody's doing this, we're going to pull a panty raid. Well, there's monks at this monastery year round. So we went up and we made it up, and we got the underwear that we needed, and we ran back down and we were putting them up the flagpole. When the monks came walking by, they seen it, and two or three of them laughed at us. And that's what got the archbishop to yell at us, dude. Oh, we got chewed out by that dude. He was so, he's like, you know who I am, of the Catholic Church? And I'm like, no, I don't really care either, but you got a weird looking hat on, like I was a kid. Yeah. I'm like, I'm a kid. I don't care about you as, like, what's this? But, he told me, he was like, you guys were okay until you made my monks laugh. They're in their vow of silence right now. And I'm like, man, it's not going to kill anybody, like, get over it, dude. But, it's still like 40 years old, after all the things I've been through, like, it's still one of the funniest things that I look back and I'm like, where did I ever even come up with this idea to pull? But kids don't even talk about pulling a panty raid now. They're in their phones, and they don't build forts.
They'll remember stuff like that forever, man. Just like you remembered. Just remember that too. But and then Cody, stick around for this because you could probably definitely shed some light to it too. But this Saturday is the charity for Frontline Healing Foundation. It's what's it called? Cars. I got it. I'm gonna share the link here. It's called Car Culture with a Big Purpose, and it's basically a car show, airplane show in Maryland. And I'm sharing the link here, but
the link is in the description.
Okay.
If it's a .org one.
Yeah, it's also there. But all the proceeds are going to go to Frontline Healing Foundation. If you've watched Mind Over Madness before, you've definitely heard me mention it before. But Frontline Healing Foundation helps subsidize the cost of treatment for active duty, retired military, and first responders with substance abuse. But it also helps with mental illness they need taken care of, TBIs. They help with all that stuff. So,
there's the fuelthebrave.org right there.
Cool. But Cody was in the military, in the Army, and has 2 Purple Hearts. And, with his situation going on now with his liver, he could tell you how fucked the VA is. So
their priorities are so jacked up.
Cody, thank you, man, for your service, man. And how many tours did you do?
So I officially won 18-month one. I'm waiting to see if they'll ever change anything over, but at the same time, the one was fun enough for me. But in that one deployment, I sustained being very close to multiple explosions, right? And the thing that's different now not now, but towards the end of the war, like 2008, 2009, they started figuring out, hey, if a bomb goes off within 25 feet of somebody, they don't even have to be hurt. They can have concussive issues, right? So where I didn't get held out like everybody else did, I had repeating explosions. You know, I think I was blown up a total or not blown up like hurt, but within the blast radius, like 11 times over a 15-month period. And two of those, I was really blown up, you know, and my bell rung, knocked out, memory, you know, lost consciousness. So looking back, if I would have been in there a little bit later, I probably wouldn't have been hurt as much. But you know, at the same time, like they had to learn, like, hey, these guys getting thrown from these vehicles is not a good idea. Let's put a seatbelt in there, you know, for the gunner. That at least they can hold on to him and he doesn't just go flopping out the top of it when something goes wrong. But I was deployed to Southeast Baghdad in a town called Arab Jabor. And man, I tell you what, like one of the most amazing experiences I can ever talk about is really going over there, like, and not even like the fog of war, the violence of war, the bad things, the good things that's over there. You know, there's a whole different culture of people and a way of life that we don't know. And it doesn't look like that for us. You know, there's some people that are so poverty stricken over there, they don't have phones, they don't have a TV, they have a mud hut that's put together with cow shit and the stuff from the backyard, and they're just happy as can be. And they live normal lives, or they farm for themselves and they barter and blah blah blah. But like at the same time, you're right on the outskirts of Baghdad. So we had a major gun running route run through or a weapons running route that we had to always deal with. So it brought a lot of heat to our AO, and which brought a lot of other problems with it, right? So yeah, my deployment was from, oh man, it was 06, 07 over the 2-year period. But I was hurt first in this January of 2007, and then I got hurt again in the summer of 2007 by a vehicle-borne explosive device. So got 2 Purple Hearts. I mean, you only need one. Most people, it's funny because when some like Chris or people will talk about it, and my wife's even gotten this, that they're like, your husband can't have 2 Purple Hearts, and she's like, absolutely you can, you know, and be alive. It's just you have to be.
What do you mean you can't have 2 Purple
Because
Hearts?
most people are dead by the time they get their first or second one, right? Like, you know, that's honestly what it is, you know, and me, I was involved in situations where they were going to apply me for other ones. And I told them, no, do not. Like, dude was missing his legs. I got knocked out, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that is not the same type situation. Or, you know, dude's not coming home, you know, it's not a big deal. Like, or they just blew the door off the truck and, you know, I had a headache for 24 hours. Like I'm not the type of guy that would have been okay getting my Purple Heart mailed to me years after I got done deployment, you know? And you see a lot of that with this newer army is they're like, oh, well, technically, you know, me and Keith, you know, cause it's just a sworn statement. And then, you know,
Keith, I like them already. Most people embellish. You hear what he just said?
Yeah.
I like them. Yeah. Yeah. You definitely are faith driven and honest. And I could tell.
Oh, yeah.
Cody, the one picture on your website, what's the one with your was your arm or shoulder all jacked up?
Yeah, my right one. So that was the first time. That's the first time I got blown up.
That was from the IED though, from the explosion. But also, what, and we'll talk about it after the army. But isn't your illness related to?
Yeah, so something. Yeah, they'll never admit this, and I argued with this doctor, and of course he's never done drugs. He's never been an addict. All he knows is what the book tells him. I've never ever shared anything that would have got me hepatitis C, and I know the exact fucking time frame that I would have caught it. And it's rampant over there because they don't have health care. They got tuberculosis everywhere too.
Yeah.
But they never tested me. I went back and I looked and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't ever been tested for this. Never. And then all of a sudden you test for it and I'm positive. And they're like, well, it's because you were a drug addict. I'm like, absolutely not because I was a drug addict. Do you think I was just picking up needles from the park and stabbing them in my ass? No, that's not the drug user I was. I was a very smart drug dealer, obviously, because I was military beforehand. And that's the only reason I became a drug dealer is because I was smarter than all the idiots that I met. And I'm like, well, if these idiots can do it, I can do it for a while, you know. And I did do it better, but it all comes back to you in the end because everybody's gonna tell on you. Nobody's honest, and nobody, you know, once they're jammed up for $400 of dope, they're going straight to Keith the cop to let him know, I want to be a CI. Cody's gonna kill me, you know.
That's the funniest thing about it, dude. Everybody, the no snitching thing, dude. Yeah, you get a good enough charge on somebody, they'll tell on their mother.
Apologies about that.
You know what I mean?
Oh fuck yeah, they will.
So, that brings us to the Frontline Healing Foundation thing, man, because you know a lot of military people, along with like first responders, they get hurt, and they're just given, you know, pain medication, benzos. It's just like, let's just give them what they need, you know, and they get hooked on them. And that's how I got hooked on them, dude.
Oh, there's also, you got to watch though, man. There's doctors though, too, that'll break HIPAA laws though, Keith, and fucking call someone else though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But,
you know what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, when you get into the world of when you get into the drug use world, you're not employed anymore. You get fired. So now you have no health care. Or the VA is not going to help you because for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's where Frontline Healing Foundation comes in, man. You know, last year, because the average cost to send someone to rehab is about $10,000.
Holy smokes.
So last year, I believe they had almost 100 applicants, and they were only allowed, and they only had enough funding to help 50 of them, man. That's 50 people that are, you know, serve their country in one way or another that can't get the help they need. And who knows what happened to them, because the suicide rate in law enforcement is huge. It's even bigger in the military. Everybody's seen the 22 a day, but most of that stuff has to do with TBI, PTSD, and it usually also includes some sort of substance abuse, whether it's alcohol or prescription drugs, or, you know, the illegal drugs. But a lot of the people that end up taking their own life has to do with some sort of illness that Frontline Healing Foundation is willing to help these people with. So if you can't come to the show, Lubis, I don't know if did I give you the link for the auction?
That's what I'm looking for right now. Did you text it over?
I don't know, man. I'll put it up. So
I have Fuel the Brave. I have Fuel the Brave from you, and One Mission.
Yeah, I didn't send it to you. I'll find it. So this Saturday also is the what do you call it? Frontline Healing Foundation Gala, but that's in Texas. If you're in Texas listening to this, you should definitely get a ticket and go. It's going to be pretty good. But there's also an auction page, like silent auction, and I think one of the better silent auction prizes. Cody, you know, have you seen the TV show Navy SEALs?
Mm-hmm.
I have, but I guess the producer or one of the guys that's on there, one of the silent auction things is a 2-day deep sea fishing trip with that dude. Him and how do I not remember his name? Anyway,
is it the dude from Bones?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I wonder if that's the one that's Seal. I think I know. I mean, there's a couple of them that are on there, but yeah, no, that's it right there. I'll have to check it out. That's so awesome though.
But him and Kyle Morgan, I'm sure some people have heard of Kyle Morgan. He was the Delta guy that went into that hotel and wherever and wrecked shop for America. But yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff on there. I think there's some some weapons on there. Maybe not. I don't know. Well, that link just sent you to a picture. Never mind. That's not the right link. I'm pretty retarded. Not as bad as Matt Petunas, but close.
It happened.
But yeah, so the gala's there, but just like with the kids, man, every dollar helps, dude. If you send $5, like, yep. I guess people don't really, they're like, oh, I want to feel bad if I only sent $5, dude. If everybody sent $5, we'd be able to help so many freaking people, dude.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I believe you can even like mark anonymous if you don't want to put your name on the donation, but yeah, dude, donate. 'Cause there's a lot of fucked up cops like me, and there's a lot of fucked up soldiers like Cody, and you could help them get the help they need. So,
I think talking about this, I met a guy that was he was Anchorage PD, and the wildest addiction story ever that I've ever heard of how it started. He started by and this is post army and all that. I met him like a couple years ago. He had basically popped the trunk, and they had been running from the cops. Well, the back of the trunk had all the pre-pressed product, so they hadn't pressed all that dope into the fentanyl and the opiates and all that shit into pills yet. Well, the trunk was just a dust ball. So when they popped the trunk, he was standing there, and he got such whiff. He almost OD'd, but he was fucked up for a while. And he one day he just got super depressed, wanted to take his life. And he's like, I remember how that felt. Well, his wife was on pain pills, so he just went and started taking hers and ended up in a really bad spot. You know what I mean? Like really bad. Because then he went to the doctor because he had knee pain, and the doctor gave him plenty of pills for that because he was a cop. And, I don't have to worry about you because you're a cop. It's like, no, we're the ones you got to worry about. We're the ones that carry around what's on the other side of the gates of hell. It's guys like Keith, guys, soldiers, it's paramedics, it's firefighters. They're the ones that stand on that gate to hell, and they make sure everything that nobody else is willing to fucking look in the face and fight stays over there, and it never comes on this side. Well, when you've seen through the gates, there's a lot of shit that you carry home and you'll never be able to get rid of.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad that there's organizations like Frontline Healing that's willing to help step in and cover the gap where there's not coverage. Somebody has to have their 6.
And
yep.
I didn't know about the stuff when I went to rehab. I went all the way up to Jersey and went to a public detox, which is crazy up there. Then I went to a public rehab, but I didn't realize that they had military first responder friendly rehabs. Harbor of Grace is one up here in Maryland. Warrior's Heart just opened in Virginia. They're amazing. They got one in Texas too, and they have a detox and a rehab in one. So, and all the therapists are equipped to basically handle the PTSD stuff. I remember my first therapist, man. She was like 26 years old. I got through 2 sessions with her, and then she started crying and said she can't listen to my stories, and she quit. But I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, man. So this channel, it's something we want to bring light to. The everyday struggles people have, not just military first responders, but everybody. Give them an outlet to get it out of their system in a safe environment, and to talk about not just addiction and recovery, but like Cody said, I was born and raised Catholic, completely lost my religion. Seeing all the stuff I was seeing, especially like in Richmond, I was like, there's no way there's a God if this is happening. There's just not. And then, through recovery, I refound my faith, but it really is weird. If you're Loomis will tell you it's one of the 12-step program things, but they always say God's will, not yours. And if you really think about that, when you're about to make a decision and ask yourself, am I doing this to make me happy, or am I doing this to make God happy? You really do make some different decisions in life.
Cody,
so-
you seem though like like really locked in, and this question might be like real weird, but I'm just wondering, just for, I guess it is kind of selfish, but like my dad passed in November. Could he see anything I'm doing? Do you believe or no?
I mean, I believe I like to believe that the veil from heaven to earth is visible, and our veil between is not, obviously. But I have no confirmation of that, and obviously it's
I
not.
know. Yeah.
It's not in anything biblical. Like I've read the Bible back to front, and never does it say, "Hey," it says you'll join those that are there if they're there. You know what I mean? And I would like to think and believe that he knows the path you're on versus what you were. I mean, he's seen what you were doing,
Well, he's
obviously.
seen. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that. I wish I knew. I wish I knew the answer to that, right?
That's what kills me every day, buddy, because it's like once I'm finally doing like good in this earth and not being a fuck up, we're ripping and running out there. He saw me take care of him for 2 years, and he saw me, start this documentary. But now that everything's coming out, and that was the main thing, I was doing it for him. It's like I can't enjoy any of my successes without him. And it's like, of course, everyone says he's watching, but I know you can't have exact evidence of that.
This is what I believe. I think they can. I believe they can. I believe.
Veronica, me too.
I believe God works through guardian angels too. I believe you have.
He works through us.
There are some things that are just not explainable. But I think they can. And this is the other thing, man. If I live my life that way, knowing like that my relative, like someone up there is watching me, like Loomis, if you truly believe your heart, your dad can see you, and your dad's watching you, it's going to be harder to fuck up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I do. Well, that's why I mean, I'm living like good, and that's why I'm working my ass off and doing. His last wish was, he told me no alcohol, no drugs, because you don't know how to behave. And then he said, meaning like with the drinking, we made that pact, and then he told me, he was very proud of me for, being over 4 years. And then also the Buffalinos selected me to do that. Yeah, he got this.
Frozen.
Hey, real quick. Kyle Morgan is a special forces. Kyle Morgan. I pulled it up. So Kyle Morgan is an ex-Delta Force operator. So you want to talk about a badass of badasses? Yeah. I
know. I mean, Kyle is he sits on the board of directors for Frontline Healing.
Yeah, he's a Green Beret. That dude's a gangster.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't want him hunting you down. That's
he doesn't jump in chats though, acting all tough. Why? Because he's a real one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But hold on, I had a thought, and now squirrel.
Don't even get me started. We're staying positive. Sorry.
They do have a purple handgun in there that's pretty cool, even though I could never have it.
Felon.
Oh, gotcha.
But no, man, it's just like with all the fucking crazy, like you said, all the shit you see on TV, you see on your phone, all that fucked up stuff, man. It just, dude, if we get these 2 kids to camp, it's just like it gives you that one good feeling that you fucking accomplished something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Completely selfless, dude. Like these kids are never gonna know. We sat here and talked about them on a show and raised money for them and stuff. And it's one of those completely, you see the people that kind of do like selfless acts, but then they have to videotape it and put it everywhere. Like,
right.
And I get it. Sometimes they do that to inspire other people to do it. I mean, but to truly just do something for somebody and they have no idea that you did it for them, it's good stuff. Like, and I think with all the bad stuff I've done, not speaking for you, but like bad stuff you do, I believe I believe I have a debt to pay. You know what I mean? I believe I have a debt to pay to society for some of the fucked up stuff I did. And,
I had the last set. Oh, sorry, Keith, go ahead.
So yeah, so
go ahead. I didn't know you were in the
that's
middle.
just it's not why not doing this so I can say, oh, my debt's clean or whatever, but I feel in my heart that I have to do good things for people because I didn't do good things for people for a long time. You know what I mean? I did it for
Absolutely.
I did it
Absolutely.
for
I mean,
selfish reasons. So
I went to prison. I mean, I did my time and I'm out, and I still like, I still feel like when I see those kids, when I see somebody that's on the edge, and it's like you don't want to go there. Like you really don't, and it's hard because I had a lot of people tell me on my way in too that I didn't want to go where I was headed. And sometimes you really have to learn. But I also tell them like, hey, if you're not going to listen to me today, just know you reach back out, I'll help you out. As long as you're at that point that you're willing to surrender and help yourself, I'll be there to help you. I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of money and fucking pay your problems off, but I'll be there to listen to you. I'll be there to support you, and I'll be there to help you find the way out of it. Right. Like connecting you with Frontline Healing Foundation. If you're inside their parameters of help, obviously, that first responder, military, or first responder, but it's not a debt, but it is. I know exactly what you mean. It's not something where like, because God tells us we can't do good deeds and get ourselves into heaven. And that's not my goal. My goal is to do as much good as I can because I was dealing deaths for so long and just fucking hateful shit that, I mean, if I could help out 5 times as many people as I hurt, it still wouldn't take back any of the pain I caused. But there would be better people because I was a better person, not shittier people for once.
I agree, man.
No, that's it's all about, man.
So yeah, man, and it's just it is super impressive that with your personal struggles going on right now, and I don't know if you know this, Cody also has a shit ton of kids because his pullout game is weak, but but with all that going on, you and your wife have still taken on this for these kids at your church, man. It's super impressive.
Well, he's fucking honest, and I tell everyone like I don't like talking to certain like fucking people. I could read people like that though, but this guy's honest as fuck. You know what I mean? Most people will be like, yeah. And then the grenade went off, and I jumped on top of the grenade, and then I picked it up and I threw it. Cody, I'm sure you see a lot of embellishment out there, but you can even tell from your eyes and everything. You're just straight up honest, like man, it's refreshing though. But I just want to say, if I could, because they've been selling real good, and Joe Buffalino even said, anyone who's interested in Russell's last captain pins, we'd like to put the proceeds though for some of these though towards the foundation. They're $50 each, which includes no shipping, and they are the last. They are Russell Buffalinos, and I'd like to put a couple of them up because they're selling like hotcakes.
Awesome.
Towards though, people will buy them, and I will be donating. So just so you know.
And we'll put that up on Instagram and stuff too, and get that. That's awesome. Thank you, Joe. That's awesome. But yeah, man, it's refreshing to see people that do that kind of stuff, man. I think you were talking about the other day too. It's like it's crazy because I've been 22 years, I think, in July, and dude, we married. We got lucky with the ones we chose, I guess, because there's no reason why at least mine should still be around, man. And it's good, dude. I really am going to be excited to get these kids there, man.
Yeah, definitely. My wife. So it's funny. My wife will tell you, she's like, he must have an evil twin because I don't believe in it. Because I've told her, like, I've told her the worst things that I did. Like this dude owed me like money. This dude owed me a whole bunch of money, and he had a twin brother, and I fucking got jumped in the nightclub because of his twin brother over his debt one night. Well, that night I went and took him hostage pretty much, and I gave him some extra bath treatments. The dude probably never showered ever. He probably still will not shower after me waterboarding his bitch ass. But like she's like, you did that to somebody? I'm like, hypothetically for entertainment purposes. They already know this. He already told on me. They didn't do nothing about it. But here's the thing: is like she always looks at me and she's read my charges. She's read the entire book of or my entire discovery front to back. And she's like, man, you got hosed. And I'm like, yeah, I did. But at the same time, I was dealing drugs. Like when they found out that, so I don't know if Loomis knows the story, but what happened is I was first accused of a hit and run, basically leaving a failure to remain at the scene of the accident where death occurred. Well, they couldn't necessarily direct me, tie me to it, but then they said I did it, and they told the news that. Well, when they found out the blood on my truck was my dad's, not a girl's, like that's kind of hard to prove it's me, right? Like as I told them all along, I was like, I didn't do it. And they ended up figuring out I was a drug dealer. So they came and they charged me with all four charges, which carried 136 years, 142 years, some astronomical amount of years. And they wouldn't bifurcate the trials. So I knew that I was going to get every day of that time. Especially in the county I was in Colorado, they don't care if you're in there on drugs. They might as well just gavel you from the jump. But I took a plea deal for the other side, and I did. I got a 12 to 15 year sentence. I did 5 years. I got out, and I met my amazing wife. And from there, like she has made me a better person every day because she's never done drugs. She's never had to deal with this type of stuff. But I've been honest with her of who I am and why she's still here. I don't know, because she knows I'm a nut. She knows what I've been through, and she knows the pain that I carry every day, but she loves me through it anyways, right? And like you said, 22 years on the force, and like you go back to day one when you came out of the academy. Did you ever think that you would fall in the position where you would be addicted to anything for
Dude,
any reason?
I wouldn't even smoke weed, dude, because
Right.
I wanted to be a cop forever, dude. If you would have told me I was going to be an opiate addict at, 40 years old, I would have fucking been like, yeah, right, dude.
Yeah.
But addiction is and you know what? I think I've said this before. Before I was an addict, I would have fought with you tooth and nail that addiction was your choice. I would have told you, it's like, dude, it's your choice. You chose to put that shit in your system and blah, 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 blah. And, I didn't understand it, dude, because when I went to a doctor for an injury and he gave me something that was going to help me, did I choose to take the medicine? Yeah, but I didn't choose to take it to get high at first or addict, you know what I mean? And then by the time it happened, it was just too late.
Oh, I loved them. I fucking love drugs. And that was like my main reason. I'm gonna be honest. Like I just loved them. But my thing though was I was like, if you use this shit, my brother was like the best basketball player around in this area, and they thought that I was coming up, and I was able to play ball, but not as good as him. So I ended up going into the bathroom in the high school with the long hairs, and it all just started there. And then the next thing I mean, is bad. I did 6 rehabs my last year in 2021, and then the 6th one, though, it was actually a detox, and I got it. And it's just, a lot of people talk about rehabs. Oh, well, this one and that one. I've been in like the fanciest ones where I had my own fucking horse on a mansion. And then I got sober, though, in like a state-run fucking facility that was pretty much almost like fucking jail. People in jail were like, dude, this is way worse. And that was a place called Choices. That's where I got clean. It's not about where you go. It's about when you're ready. And I think that interventions, they're good, but at the same time, like, because hopefully something will click while they're there. But at the same time, man, I don't know how many interventions I had, but I'm saying it's when you're ready.
My intervention was perfect because I wanted to stop. I just didn't have the balls to say it. And it was the push I needed. It was like just a little nudge I needed. But I was ready. I mean, I was definitely ready.
Oh, I was dying to stop because I knew every time, Keith, like when I was real sick and Cody, I would get a lot. At the end, I was just maintaining. So when I would boom, and next thing you know, I'm fucking I just feel normal. And I remember even telling God, like, if I just felt like this, I'm really not a bad person. You know what I mean? Like, if I just felt like that, meaning like when I just felt normal, even though that wasn't normal, I thought it was there.
Just not sick, not dope sick.
I mean, dude, like, listen, 3 doctors come into the hospital and they're like, you might wake up without a leg, 3 surgeries. And what did I do right after I left there? I went immediately and fucking got shit with a walker. Like, it doesn't, like, our minds aren't what their shadow of like what our true selves. Like I look at my piano here, I look at my like all my equipment, all that shit I would have pawned. And I look at that now, and I'm like, how the fuck would I pawn that? Like, it's just, I want people to know, if you have a loved one that's battling with addiction, that is not though who they really are, how they're acting. They're dying inside. It's worse than prison. It's an internal prison that they cannot get out of until they seek help. And the biggest step in the world, fuck getting a doctrine, fuck getting a fucking whatever the fuck. You step up and you say, I need to go in, and you go in. That's the first day of the rest of your fucking beautiful life. Because if you told me, Cody, 4 years ago that I'd be like executive producer on this documentary, that I'd be fucking, that I'm not like, ooh, look at me. If that I would be partners with Keith, that I meet great people like Chris from Roll the Bones, Linda, Veronica, Gina from the Aussie channel, like all the stuff, like, you know, that's going on. Judd the Buffalinos. It's just, besides my dad passing, which kills me. But besides that, I mean, what do they say in the rooms? A life beyond your wildest dreams, something like that. And yeah, I mean, I can't believe my life right now. Besides the fact that my pop's gone. Other than that, I mean, it's great. You know,
it's a testament though, like to see like you said, November, right? That's 3 years in. That's not very long. That's not to a lot of addicts. To a lot of addicts there. How many years clean? 4 years clean?
About 4.5.
4.5. So you were okay, yeah. So about 6 months. So 4 years.
And in year 3, and in year 2 and 3, though, I was taking care of my father too, who was dying.
Right.
But I wasn't even thinking that. I was like, no, I have to have his back, you know.
But for you to
make it all about you. You make it all about you. He's dying. Because I remember I jumped through my front window when my best friend died, and my mom knew him, and my family knew him, and and then I woke up with the nut word. This is years ago, 2004. And then I'm like, I just made that all about myself. They're already so upset about Dave dying that I got to fucking be a jagoff and fucking, you know what I mean? And it's embarrassing. And, you know, so that was my biggest test with addiction, is when someone dies. I would, because I lost a lot of people. I'm sure you have too, Keith, same. I would always relapse like after their wake or whatever, like one of my best friends, like who died. But with my pops, it was just something different after that deal I made with him. It's just like an extra, like, there's just no way I cannot dishonor him, you know?
That's good though. That's a testament though to the work you put in, you know, like me, the only 2 rehabs I've had was called the Army. You can't go there and get high. It ain't going to work out for you. You know, and like, cause I was a weekend warrior on meth, and then the recruiter called like, hey, you want to join the Army? And I'm like, yeah, no, you know, and I went back to doing drugs, and I literally was sitting there on my mom's, I lived with my mom still cause I was young. And I was like, man, I can't keep doing this. Like, it's going to catch up. My parents are going to find out. Everybody's going to find out I'm this fucking loser smoking meth, even though I'm like, you know, I was a 17, 18-year-old manager at Big O Tires, which they never had a kid that was a manager. The closest manager to me was like fucking 40. I think he was like 50 years old, worked for the company for like 90 years, you know, and like then he's finally a manager. And I was a manager within like 3 years. So like it was bad because I was functioning, right? And I was a high functioning addict. So I dipped off to the military, and then obviously I really
go to work with meth.
Yeah.
You go to work like on meth? No, because I heard though, like, you know, like usually like when people do meth, they got to get a hooker or something. No, they just want to fuck.
No, I was a weekend warrior. I didn't really do it at work or during the week, but during the weekend, it'd be like, I'd be up for like 3-4 days, go to bed and then go to work, and I would never mix. But the thing is like after the military, and that's when I was on pain pills, and then it just slowly went downhill, you know? And my incarceration story, from going from being in the Army to doing 18 months in county, because my cousins got in a bar fight. These dudes, like, we were about to get jumped. I pulled my pistol. They kept walking. I fired warning shots. They charged me with murder, but, you know, attempted murders. And my lawyer was like, dude, he's a sniper. Like, he didn't miss. He shot where he shot because he wanted to shoot there. So it's, you know, it's harassment. It's menacing.
You were a sniper?
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I did in the Army.
Oh, okay, nice. So my buddy Randy did as well. Okay, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So, like, so I ended up finding my, you know, like where I could hide in the world amongst the criminals, because nobody would judge me. Nobody cared what I was going through. Nobody cared what I was feeling, and it just went bam, downhill. And when I got locked up, I went to a program in prison called Therapeutic Community. And I don't know if they have that in outside of Colorado at all, but they always call it the snitch pod, but it's a year-long program where basically you just hold each other accountable for stupid shit. Cussing, being late, doing this, doing that. You know, if somebody was actually fucking off in there, we wouldn't tell on them to get them more time. Like, we're still convicts. Like, that's not what we're gonna do to each other. But you know, the amount of treatment that I got from very good counselors. You know, I had a counselor who was like, listen, I don't want to hear about the army. I don't want to hear about this. I want to know what else is there. And she really dug into my dad's abuse of me when I was a child, and the fact that when I was 11 I lost my virginity to a 17-year-old cheerleader. Well, that's fucking rape, because I was, you know, she was a senior in high school fucking an 11-year-old kid. That is disgusting. And it fucked me up until I met my wife at the age of 33. I treated women like trash. I mean, trash probably got better treatment out of me because it at least got taken to the can. It didn't have to walk itself out there. I took it out there, you know? So, like, it's so strange to look back and think, you know, you're exactly right. And addiction is not a choice. It's a chemical altering of your brain. Yes, it was your choice to do it the first time and to get high. But once your brain feels that, and once you're chasing the dragon, or once you're in that mode, it is the overwhelming selfishness that you cannot get out of.
That's all it is. Yeah.
I mean, you can't describe the war within your brain when you're using against your own will. It's not bullshit. I mean, I would fight with myself. You're not going to go get more. You're not going to go get more. And you always ended up getting more. I lost.
And every time you're high, I'm not going to use it again. And Cody, I was afraid to fall asleep because I knew when I would fall asleep, if I woke up, I'm sick. So, like, imagine, like, I couldn't even take a nap, or like, it's just the worst quality of life. And I don't want people who use to think like, oh, whatever, like, that's okay if you're using. You're not a bad person. You're not a bad person.
There's a better life.
Yeah, you're just stuck, and we've been stuck, and, you know, you could get out of there. If I got out of there, fucking Keith and Cody and everyone, you know, you could get out of there. And, you know, it's about, I'm going to be honest, you could call up people, but while you're really, I personally think people at least don't need that separation, at least detox, because it makes them feel like, you know, you got to get away from the world. You can't do it on the couch. Just go. Some people could, but go by, even if it's only 7 days and you get all that out of you or whatever, even if that's a start. I say that because hopefully, you know, they stay in longer. But even if you do that, it just gives you that separation of real life, and something hits over you. And you might be on a pink cloud, as they call it in the beginning. But if you go in, though, with the right fucking attitude and the right people, though, to support you, like us right here, be it Keith, or email, you can hit us up at any time. We'll talk to you. If I'm not available, Keith will talk to you. You know, we're both busy, but we always make sure that we always get back to you within 24 hours. And that's the email right there. And just please don't feel, I'll tell last thing I want to say. I remember when I raised my hand up in Philly, when I was living in Philly, I said, you know, I feel like I'm bothering people when I'm calling and asking for help. And then this old head looked at me and goes, how many times would you call the dope man when he wasn't answering?
Right,
I'll
back.
call a million times to kill myself, but I won't call once to help myself.
Nope.
And it's okay to look in the past, but just don't stare, you know?
Yeah. Hey, Carolyn, thank you for saying that. Like, it is hard to make the choice, right? To choose you, an ultimate you, over the selfish you. But, you know, finding the value in yourself is really where it's at. And it is the hardest thing. But having foundations like the Frontline Healing Foundation, somebody that stands in there to get in the gap and help the funding, because that's some of people's biggest problem, right? Is the money of it. What drug addicts are sitting on 10 grand? They're like, I'm gonna use this 10 grand to get sober with. None of them. None of them. None of them even have 10 grand. You know, much less they're just like stashing it away to go to get sober. That's just not how it works. And how many families that drug addicts are involved with, you know, I mean, whether they're the mom or the dad, you know, if it's the dad, usually he's working, he's bringing in the money. And he's got to step away and he's got to afford this. Like, how are you going to do both things? There's so many complications to it that make it more difficult. And foundation, or and organizations and foundations like Frontline Healing Foundation really do stand in the middle to bridge that gap.
Yep.
And,
And
yeah,
they even like
go ahead, Keith.
they'll even like, I mean, a lot of times it's like, I mean, they'll even get you there, man. If you need to go to the one in Texas, they'll get you there.
See, where I live, though, all you have to do is just call. It's free. The state, you know what I mean? You get the state insurance, they put you right in. All you got to do is call Wyoming Valley Drug and Alcohol. If you're from northeastern Pennsylvania, call me. I'll get you a bed in rehab by the next day. Tops.
Well, that's because your state was run by Joe Biden.
Yeah, right. My state wasn't run by Joe Biden. You know who my state was run by, but
so I mean, I go on call at 1 a.m. So I need to get to bed. But Cody, thanks for coming on, dude.
Yeah, man,
thanks for
I'd like to do a pre-record, man, with them and get his story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for
make a nice edit,
bringing this to light for the kids. Chris, roll the bones. Thanks for the idea of putting this all over the media so we can get this shit out there, man. So everybody, $1, $2, $3, $5, $10, $20, whatever. Click on that link, donate for the kids. We're definitely going to have Cody back on. It might have to be like a 7-hour with his
well, no, but I want to do a pre-record story with him, like where I do like the actual editing and shows, like, cause that's what I do. Like instead of us just talking like this, you'll see stuff floating by and the screen will just go to you. So like a nice pre-record for your story.
Yeah, we can do that.
It'd be an honor. And I really appreciate you though coming on. And listen, I'm sure you get my contact info from Chris, Keith, or whatever, anything that I could do to help at all. Cause I have a lot of social medias and I run a lot of people's social medias as well that have a lot of like, numbers and public figures. So if you need anything, man, from me at all, please just call. You're not bothering me. We used to bother to know that.
Thank you. And again, check out Camp 4 Kids, the number 4 kids.newamericanrepublic.org. And while you're on there, after you're done, don't worry about me though. But if you want to know a little bit about my story, see some pictures of me when I used to be a skinny badass, you can go check out codybowden.newamericanrepublic.org. And again, thanks to Rick for building both of these amazing landing pages. All funds will be trackable for the Camp for Kids. And God bless anybody that can or can't help. I appreciate you if you just share it out if maybe one of your cousins sees it and helps. That's all it takes. Share it out through your social medias, through your friend groups in different parts of the United States, and watch this thing happen.
Well, I gotta correct you though on one thing though, that you were wrong about, completely wrong about. Is you're still a badass, all right? So more of a badass to be able to get out there what you did and doing what you're doing, and just look how positive you are, and you just don't lie. It's great to see someone who doesn't lie. So
there's a link to the Cody Bowden Instagram page. Make sure y'all give him a follow.
There it is. There's Cody's Instagram right there. Click it right there. Give him a follow. Cody, we got to have you back on, man. And
thanks, guys.
All right, brother.
Sniper, man, thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you do. And you're the type of person that, like you did, you're like that we love having on, and you're honest and don't fucking change and keep doing what you're doing because it's beautiful.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, Cody. Thank you, brother.
I'll see you tomorrow. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good show, buddy.
Oh, great show. And thank you everyone for tuning in. And me and Keith will see you next Wednesday at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. And Keith, be careful out there tonight, brother.
All right, buddy. Y'all take care.
All right. I'm going to just show the first part though of our trailer, and then I'll finish it with the song. But don't forget to donate in the description and in the comments. Thank you all. This is just part 1.
the time that you got in life is this much, and then the time that I wasted with drugs and alcohol and being a dummy is not that much, and then the time I did in prison because I was a dummy and alcohol and drug addict, they left me with this much. So this is what I got left out of this much. It's important that this much that's left, you find happiness and you get the most you can out of it, and don't let somebody make you fucked up and then have this much.
I can relate that to a lot of stuff, man. Not only using drugs and alcohol, not only going to prison, but anything, man. Like this is as bad as my father worked 6 days a week his entire life, and he retired twice. And finally, when he retired the last time at 72 years old, it wasn't within a year. He got sick, man. And it's an
you never know.
It's an irreversible sickness. And he worked himself and wasn't able to enjoy any of it on the back end. So even if it's like, because for me, at first, it was work, make money, make money. And now it's like, I mean, if I can't enjoy it on the back end, what fucking good is it making it?
It's the most valuable thing that you can't buy, and it's called time. Thank you, everyone, again for watching Mind Over Madness and the Luma Show. Please hit the subscribe button, share, and please donate to a great cause. Let's get those kids to camp. I love you all. Have a great week.